Fire for me was something that I really first discovered in a sense about 10 years ago. It's a natural source of cooking. The fire itself needs to be manicured, it needs to be loved, it needs to be looked after. Really one of my favourite ways to enjoy an oyster is just gently poached in its shell. We really use the shell as the vehicle for the cooking. It's gently warmed in its own juice there, over the fire, the smoky elements come through. For me, an oyster is something special. It reminds me of, when I was learning to swim as a young boy, you'd get dumped by waves and you're surfing and doing stuff and you get this mouthful of salt water, of ocean, of foam. That's what eating an oyster is really, for me, is all about. The most unique thing I've ever done with an oyster is oyster ice cream, actually. I've got a bit of a crazy brain. I'm a little bit of a wild man. Well, I think aside from the location and where they are and the clarity of the waters, it's the way that they're taken care of, it's the way that they've grown and the way that they're raised, and that love, that the guys that produce the oysters actually have for their product. The dressing and the vinaigrette that I've developed with this, it's a native mignonette, so like a classic mignonette sauce, shallots and red wine vinegar and pepper. That for me is, the perfect accompaniment. If we can then have that sense of place and have that kind of feeling that I'm eating an Australian oyster in Australia with Australian ingredients, that's really exactly where the recipe and that dressing's from.